What is cooking? Good lookings. Today we are on day 25 and we're going to be talking about the pitch and how to pitch. So basically what happens, okay, let's recap a bit. So far we've helped the prospect open up, we've helped them reflect and see what's really going on in their current situation. They've told us what they want, what's holding them back, and what happens if they don't fix it now. Right, so now it's time to pitch, right? But how you get to this point and how you transition into the pitch is very, very important, because a lot of people, they rush into the pitch as soon as they start like hearing the pain points, hearing the problems that you solve. But if you do that, you're going to destroy the trust, because you're going to sound like every other salesperson they've ever interacted with, and their guard's going to go up, and you're going to make the conversation feel very transactional. So today we're going to be showing you how to pitch in a way that feels natural, in a way that feels like it's collaborative, and most importantly, like respectful, because we need to maintain that, position of being seen as the trusted advisor, not a salesperson. So what are we doing in this section? Well, quite simply, we're making a simple pivot, right? From here's your challenge to here's how we can solve it together. But it needs to feel very natural and not forced. So looking into like the steps of how we do that, right? Step one is like, we're going to transition smoothly. And I put in brackets, don't break the frame. Because the frame, like I said, we've worked very hard to have that frame of being the trusted advisor, being the person that is there for them and trying to look out for them and help them get to where they want to go, right? So after the consequence questions, we want to maintain the flow, and before we pitch, we want to basically use this kind of transition. You basically say like, look, I don't feel like I have any more questions for you. Based on what you told me, John, especially when you said, and then we're going to recap their pain, and how that's made you feel like XYZ emotion, I think you'd be a great fit for what we do. Because the thing is, we help people, and then like people like them, so we help, 9-to-5ers like yourself start, and then desired outcome, desired state, you kind of input it there. So we help not busy 9-to-5ers start getting into shape, feeling confident again, without, and then you kind of can insert like a pain that they want to avoid. So without spending all their time at the gym, right? They might have said that they don't want to make it such a time-consuming thing, or like they want to live their life outside of it. They don't just want to commit to the gym fully and only. They value other things, for example. And then you're like, so at this point, where do you want to go from here? Because I can walk you through exactly, how we make this happen, but this is totally up to you. And basically, this transition that I've basically done, right? Feel free to pause, watch back, write it down, what I've just said, because that transition is very effective. Because what you're doing here is you're lowering resistance by asking the prospect where they want to go, right? So you're leading them and basically saying, look, we can go here, but again, the decision is up to you. Like, I'm not going to push you to hear about what we do and all of this stuff. Like, I want you to make that decision for yourself. So you basically ask them for the permission to pitch. That's what you're doing here. And it's effective because it makes the prospect feel like they're in control. They are in control, but like it gets them feeling that way, So then we kind of want to do like the high level promise, which is like the destination. So basically, this is going to be the 3 steps to get you from their current situation to desired situation in time frame, realistic time frame, right? So for example, this is going to be the 3 steps to get you from feeling stuck and inconsistent with your training to having a fully structured plan, feeling confident, and seeing real physical change in 90 days. Right? You want to keep this short. You want to keep it short because it gets their attention and it keeps it focused on the destination, the outcome, right? When you buy a plane ticket, you think about where you're going, right? So for example, I'm in France right now. I'm in the south of France. I'm leaving today, actually. I'm going to Spain. But um, like recording this here, I didn't think when I booked this trip, I didn't think about the the plane journey, the taxi ride to the airport, the taxi ride from the airport. I didn't think about any of that, right? Waiting in the lounge. I didn't think about that. I thought about what it's going to be like when I'm in France. Being able to have a coffee and a pain au chocolat in the morning, right? Being able to ride like a moped, a scooter along the French coast to wherever we want, Monaco, all these nice little towns here. Being able to go to these nice restaurants and eat amazing French food, right? That's what I was thinking about when I came here. And, you know, we've done it. Um, but the point I'm trying to make is you don't think about the journey to get there, you think about the destination. That's how people buy things, right? Based off of the destination. So that's what we need to put the focus on, right? At the beginning of the pitch, this is how we're going to get you to destination, end goal, simply. Then step 3 is where we basically, it's called the bridge, simply. It's basically, we're going to walk them through a simple, logical path tailored to what they told us earlier in the call. And we need to connect the emotional outcomes to the logical steps of what we're doing. So for example, this is like what I've written down, and it's all like fitness related, right? So first things first, what we're going to do, John, is we're going to build a custom fitness and nutrition plan based on your goals, lifestyle, and current routine. That way you don't waste time guessing anymore, and you can start getting results that feel sustainable and aligned with your life. Make sense? Right? So they might have said, for example, like, we're inputting the words again. They don't want to waste time anymore. They want to start feeling result. They want to start feeling sustainable and aligned with their life. They don't want it to be this overarching thing that they put too much focus on. They want it to be something that fits in well to their day-to-day life, so they can stay consistent, right? Now, we're going to be asking questions at the end, and I'll walk you through why we do that shortly. But step 2, right? So you remember how you mentioned earlier that motivation's been a big issue for you, right? And it's been affecting your confidence. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to assign you a personal coach. And basically with them, they're going to have daily accountability check-ins, so you never feel like you're doing this alone. Do you have any questions on that? Again, I'll explain the questions later. But you'll see what I'm doing is I'm explaining what we're doing tailored to them, tailored to what we've spoken about, tailored to what they told us that they wanted, tailored to basically their emotion, their pain. Sorry, there was like a wasp. But anyway, step 3 here. Okay, so lastly, we give you full access to our coaching app so you can track progress, ask questions at any time, stay consistent no matter how busy things get. And that way, instead of falling off after a few weeks like you have been, this actually becomes like your new normal, your new baseline. Does that sound good? Right? And here, going into the questions, we always ask small buy-in questions after each step, because this keeps the prospect engaged and processing, and not just like, yep. And you'll see that it's super short. Like, it's a few minutes that you're pitching. You're not pitching for a long time, because again, you're focusing. What you're basically doing with the pitch is you want them to understand the how and the why. Why you do things, how you do it. But that's it. You don't need to go into detail about like, yeah, you're going to jump on a Zoom call. You're going to need to download Zoom. You're going to need to download this app. You're going to need to download this and do this and do this. You're not explaining all the work that they're going to need to do. You're explaining, this is how we're going to get you there through these 3 things. And I would always, the bridge, you keep it between 3 to 5 steps, right? No longer, because then it's too long. And at the end, you ask questions to basically make sure that, okay, the prospect understands what you've said, and they don't have any questions on it. They're clear on it. They understand like what's going on, etc. Because otherwise, they're going to be, there's going to be too much stuff coming up at the end of the call when you drop the price, and they need to be super clear on what you do and how it works, right? Now, step 4, after the bridge, you basically set the expectations, right? So we now tell them how it's delivered, Very clear and very simple. Again, answering the how this works and why it works. So basically, John, once you enroll, we're going to send over a quick onboarding form to gather information about your schedule, your goals, and any injuries or restrictions that you may have, so we can, build that plan. Then you'll have that one-on-one onboarding call with your coach to map out what the next 90 days are going to look like. We're going to build the plan together. We're going to create a schedule where we can check in with you and hold you accountable and basically keep track of your goals. After that, you're going to get access to the app and the support group. And from there, you're basically off and running. We're going to have those check-ins and adjustments each week to make sure everything's running smoothly. And we aim to have your full plan set up within 48 hours. So that way you can hit the ground running quickly, but with a clear path and consistent support. Does that all make sense? Right? What you're doing here in simple is you are explaining to them what happens when they buy. Right? What is going to happen? What are the expectations? Right? You're making it very clear. So for a fitness coach, it's really simple. Most companies nowadays, it will be very simple, similar to this. Like once you buy something, there's a form that you'll fill out, that you'll put some details in so that they can help create a plan for you. Some companies do it either that way or differently, but more or less it's very similar. Whatever it is, because coaching is coaching at the end of the day. They need to understand who you are, what you're doing, anything that may be holding you back, time commitments, everything, so that they can make a plan for you. That's basically what coaching is, right? Coaching is just tailored to you. And why does this work so well, right? Most people think, again, sales is about being slick, or it's about being pushy or persuasive or whatever. It's not. It's about helping someone see where they are, where they want to go, and what the path looks like getting there, right? And by walking them through a tailored plan that ties back to their own words, right? Again, you'll have noticed throughout this entire thing, we'd be using words that they would have told us on the sales call. They're not being sold anything. They're being led, right? And done right, pitching should feel like a relief to the prospect, They finally met someone who listens. They finally met someone who understands, and they finally met someone who actually has a clear plan to help them. Now, obviously the pitch alone is not going to close the deal. So in the next video, I'm going to walk you through what you do after the pitch, which is basically dropping the price, closing the deal. And then in that first video, what I think we're going to do is we're going to talk about basically what happens, because you'll get calls where people will just have no objections and they'll be ready to start, and that's basically what I'll talk about there. And then the video after that, we're going to be talking about objection handling, because objection handling is a real skill, and you need to navigate that extremely well. It's a very nuanced subject, and it's very interesting, and we're gonna have a lot of fun talking about it. All right, guys. So as always, let's keep it crack-a-lackin'. Hope you guys are learning a lot, and most importantly, implementing. Rewatch these videos multiple times. Make sure that you understand this framework and that you have clear notes on it, because otherwise it's just gonna be going in one ear and out the other. So yeah, let's get crack-a-lackin'.